Welcome back, guys. Pradeep here from Department of Computer Science, AJIT Mangaluru. So we were discussing storage area network in our last session, discussing storage structure as a first part of module 5. So SAN is nothing but a bunch of arrays. We discussed the previous diagram. One side we may have number of disks might have stored as a single storage array. So SAN may have number of storage arrays which is connected to processing center or server, so that can be accessed via LAN or WAN, so that client can be accessed. And then we have seen what is a SAN and what are the features of that. So moving further, we have another setup, that is network attached storage. Previous is storage attached network. This is network attached storage. So over here, on the other side, with respect to network, we have a storages. So client will interact with the storage via the network, that is LAN or WAN. In this case, NAS is a storage which is made available over a network rather than over a local connection, such as a bus. There is no direct connection from the client to the storage. So we are connected our disk drives to the network itself. From that network, client should establish connection and request for a file to read it, or supposed to write it. So you wanted to, if a client wanted to write a file, supposed to request that particular network to get the access. So what is the advantage? You can remotely attach into file systems. This remote connection another way. So we have NFS and CIFS are common protocols, network file system and common interface file system are common protocols for this access. And it is implemented via RPC, remote procedure calls, between host and storage over either TCP or UDP on IP network. So what is this remote procedure call? So whenever a client wanted to store a particular file into this NAS, then client will establish a connection from client to this particular storage. Then the file has been sent. So this entire kind of setup, request, approve, acknowledge, send, receive acknowledgement, again confirmation. This entire procedure takes place as a remote procedure call, as in a single step. So that is handled via either TCP or UDP. What is TCP? It is transmission control protocol or connection oriented protocol. So before establishing or before sending a particular file, before saving a particular file from client to storage, there should be a proper designated connection should be established. Then only the file transmission takes place. If it is UDP, it is user datagram protocol. So there is no dedicated dedicated path. So client will push that particular file. Network will identify which particular route via router, and then the file has been processed for the save to save in that network attached storage. That is how it works with respect to UDP. And for this one, we have something called iSCSI, that is which makes use of IP network to carry the serial protocol, SCSI protocol. On the other way, it can be remotely attached to the devices. Number of devices can be attached as blocks. That is network attached storage. Then we are moving into the disk scheduling. So with respect to disk scheduling, this is one of the important concept, important topic concerned with the exams as well and knowledge purpose also. The disk scheduling is one of the very important topic. So overall, the operating system will take the responsibility for using all the hardware available with your machine. So when we say hardware, it is whatever you can touch and feel: keyboard, mouse, monitor or other screen, mic, speakers, all those comes under hardware. Then operating system's job is to utilize all this very efficiently. So especially for the disk drives, only thing is it should have a faster access time and a disk bandwidth. This is with respect to disk scheduling considered. So what is this fast access time? Is nothing but it is we should have minimizing or minimal seek time. Or on the other way, you can say seek time is most equivalent to seek distance. On the other side, on the other hand, we can say the time taken to look after a particular file from your disk, or time taken to load that particular copy that particular file into a memory location. So that is seek time. Or data flow, as the definition says, from computer to the disk, or vice versa, that is seek time. So whichever the disk or machine is having minimal seek time, that will be he will be the that particular disk and computer will be the winner. So now when we say disk bandwidth, it is the total number of bytes transferred divided by total time taken between first request for service and the completion of the last transfer. For example, the total number of bytes transferred in a particular period, so that is bandwidth. So what period? The total period is our total time that is between the first request for service and the completion of the last transfer. That is how disk bandwidth is calculated. So disk scheduling, when we say scheduling, is nothing but providing access efficiently and in a well manner for all the purposes. There is a job of operating system. So this disk scheduling should be handled very carefully and very efficiently. So how it is very efficient? So whenever a disk is having very less time, on the other less access time or minimal seek time, on the other way we can have fast access time, and which is having higher bandwidth. So that particular disk scheduling algorithm will be the winner. So when we say disk scheduling, so there are three things you're supposed to consider, three major parts of IO request. One is OS, operating system, another one system processes, and then user processes. So in this case, OS system process, user processes. OS is nothing but operating system. Those who will handle entire this disk read, write, or execute setup efficiently. System processes will look after all these things about disk read or write or execute. User processes based on input output. We'll see in detail all this. So these are the three sources of disk IO request. So when we say IO request, input output, it may include input or output mode, disk address, memory address, number of sectors to transfer. So consider each one by one. IO, input output request, which include input or output mode. For example, input request, whatever the value you are going to input from the keyboard, that is input, and whatever the value you wanted to display on the screen, that is output. So which mode that is to be preferred? Both input and output are treated as IO request, input output request. Then disk address. So disk address, in the sense one particular disk may be having n number of platters, as we have seen in the diagram. So each disk will have number of tracks, number of sectors. So each sector identified by a ID. So that is memory address. So each individual address is allocated for a particular sector. Total number of sectors to transfer. So these are all comes under IO request. Then what is job of OS? OS job is to maintain a queue of request per disk or per device. So any one or both. So when we say queue of request per disk, in the sense for a particular disk, how many read operation are maintained, how many write operation can be queued up. So these are the things have to be maintained by the OS. Sometimes we have some term called idle disk. So idle disk can immediately work on IO request, because it says idle disk, in the sense it is waiting for a command. waiting to getting the request, waiting to get the command, receive the command either to read or write, say input or output. On the other side, busy disk means this work must be in the queue. Number of tasks are allocated for that particular disk to read, write, alter, delete, all those. Idle disk is in the sense it's waiting for your command. Whatever you say, it will perform immediately based on your request. So to this particular terminology, we use optimization algorithms so that we can make a sense about when a queue is exists. So that entire thing IO request can be optimized based on different algorithms. So now, as we know, a drive controller, you look after all those device drive jobs. So drive controller will have a small buffer and can manage a queue of IO request. So this queue of IO request may have, for example, address. For example, what kind of work has to do, whether read, write, all those, alter, delete, all those comes under that. And small buffer will have the monitoring job. Or on the other way, you can say small buffer will have that capacity of storing some set of values. Those values are nothing but this queue request, queue of IO request. Then several algorithms exist to schedule the servicing of disk IO request. We'll see in detail several kind of algorithms, around 5 to 6 algorithms are there. We'll see in detail, and we can analyze the effectiveness of each algorithms. So the analysis is true for one or many platters, one or more platters. So any clarification so far? Any doubt or any clarification you may ask? So later we'll start with our disk scheduling algorithms. So before that, if you have any theoretical concept or doubts, please ask and clarify.